want a piece of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do? You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
What is up, film fans? Happy Thursday. I'm your host, Juan, and I am joined by the bad guy, Nick.
What's up, everybody? The 4K bad guy here.
And it's another episode, bonus episode, as A24 month continues right here on the Cine-Men movie podcast. Today is a special day. It's Thursday, and I'm joined with you. And the roles are kind of reversed, but it's fun. It's A24 month, so you know what that means. A24 gets plenty of Wangasms. Lots of A24. But man, I'm excited. How are you doing?
Doing fine. I mean, I'm doing much better with that Wangasm. I can imagine, like, for people tuning in, hearing the audio, just hearing you Wangasm, that's probably like the biggest pleasure of the whole stream.
Could you imagine getting your coffee and you're on the highway on your way to work and you just get hit with a Wangasm out of nowhere after talking about A24?
I'm like, just tune into episode. All right, it's time to get to another Cine-Men movie podcast. Like what? Where did that come from?
But even though this, I look back, even though this past episode was huge for us and it was everything, everywhere, all at once, live on location from Rodeo Cinema. Even though it was a live podcast, I could not wait for today because I had such a bad taste in my mouth. For everybody who listened to that episode, deeply, deeply apologize. Doing these live on location, sometimes the audio's not right, things happen. So you were not able to hear everything like you probably wanted to. You probably had to turn the volume all the way up and, but that was then, this is now. I apologize. We're on to the spectacular now. And if you guys have not seen the spectacular now, boy, oh boy, it is available now on HBO Max. What is still currently HBO Max. The news broke out a few days ago that HBO Max is, eventually going to be no more. And they're going to go to Discovery Plus.
Gasp.
Yeah.
Where the headlines break out to? Because I didn't see anything about that, but I feel like I've heard about it. No.
Yeah. They're going away with HBO Max in the coming future. They're going to be exclusive, Discovery Plus, and they're taking away a lot of HBO Max original content away.
Damn.
Some of it has already started. So yeah, some of the content has already been removed. So it's a plum shame, golly. But if you guys have not listened to last week's episode or any episode in the past, then you can, wherever you listen to podcasts at, you can also watch them live or anytime on demand on this YouTube channel. You can also find us on the Prescribed Films Network, www.prescribedfilms.com. You can check us out, hashtag the PFPN, along with a lot of other different and great podcasts. The social media is all the same. Facebook.com/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. The Instagram is /the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I can't talk today. And then the Twitter is at Cine-Men405. And if you guys want to send in some emails, the email bag is at cinemen921@gmail.com. Nick, they can also check you out.
They can check me out. They can stalk me on my Instagram page if you want to. At the 4K bad guy, same as my name.
There it is
here.
down there. Yeah. They can also follow you. They can also follow the Friday the 14th podcast.
Can also follow us there too.
Which, if you guys did not go back and listen to yesterday's episode, it was a fun episode. We talked about May. It was a very different movie, but honestly, it was a good fun watch. Now, am I going to be saying that about the Leprechaun? I don't know,
We
but
shall see.
yeah, for sure. Um, but yeah, man, let's get into it. If you guys have never joined us for a bonus episode here on the Cinema Movie Podcast, it's real simple, real quick. We dedicate the entire hour to just that movie. Literally, other than the social media and the some of the other stuff, there's no plugs, there's no sponsors, there's no really segments. So other than the director talk, and we're going to talk about the director for a little bit, just for a quick second, as the director of the Spectacular Now is James Ponsoldt. If I'm saying that right, if I'm not, I'm sorry. He's done movies like The Circle with Tom Hanks. He's also done The End of the Tour, which is another A24 movie. Other than that, he's just done like a bunch of TV shows, and then of course The Spectacular Now. Nick, have you seen any of those, or is it just The Spectacular Now?
Just as Spectacular Now. Although, I mean, the other one, The Circle, I think I've heard about it or seen the preview.
Yeah, I've only seen it once. It also stars what's that girl's name from Harry Potter?
Emma Watson.
Emma Watson. Yeah. So she's also in it as well. But yeah, let's get into it. If you guys want to check out The Spectacular Now, it is currently streaming on, again, we don't know for how long, but it is streaming on HBO Max. I assume it's going to be on there for a while because A24 just unloaded a bunch of movies on the HBO Max as soon as August started. So, yeah, there's a bunch of A24 movies on HBO Max now. The Spectacular Now debuted in theaters September 13th, 2013. IMDb currently has it at 7.1, Rotten Tomatoes at 91%. The Metascore is at 82%, while the Google users have it at 71%. The budget was $2.5 million, and it almost grossed $7 million at the box office. A hard party in high school senior's philosophy on life changes when he meets the not-so-typical nice girl. Starring Miles Teller, Shailene Woodley, Kyle Chandler, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Brie Larson, Masan Holden, Nikki Rosler, Bob Odenkirk, and directed by James Ponsoldt. So, Nick, man, I'll start just me and you on here. So, when's the first time you actually did get to check this out? And what made if anybody has not listened to us in the past, A24 month is all 4 episodes are dedicated to A24, so everybody got to pick out one, and this is the one you picked. What is it about The Spectacular Now? Like, did you remember the first time you seen it?
Well, I mean, split and simple is those Miles Teller. But when I watched this, I picked it up on DVD. I can't remember exactly when it came out. But I mean, first time watching it, I really enjoyed the film. And then you mentioned other names like, I mean, Charlie Woody, known for the Divergent movies. Bob Odenkirk, he plays Saul Goodman on Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul.
Yep.
And the funny thing is, you did mention another name. You
Brie
did.
Larson?
Yes. And when we were about to do this rewatch, I forgot she was even in the movie.
Yeah. She and she, we'll get into the characters, but yeah, man. How did you in a few short words, what was it like revisiting it for the episode today? Was it still enjoyable like it was the first few times?
I mean, I always had a fun time tuning back in. I think it had been a little while since I've actually seen it. But I just find it quite interesting now seeing it for like a podcast, a stream type of thing. I mean, I always just watch the movie just to watch it. For the ones that may know me, my whole thing is just mainly covering horror movies. So this was like it's just, I mean, it's a surprise to me. that I'm able to cover this movie. I'm a big Miles Teller fan, so it's kind of
Uh,
like a biased, I guess, thing going on there.
no, it's a good pick. And honestly, when you said that, I had to take a double look. I was like, huh? But when I did, and we talked about it, I was like, man, I'm actually glad because I've been wanting to talk about this movie for a long, long time. Top Gun just came out a few months ago, so Miles Teller is popping right now. So I was really honestly looking forward to this rewatch. Um, I seen this movie for the first time probably around the same time you did. Picked it up on Blu-ray when it came out. Loved it. When I watched it for the first time, I didn't even know what A24 was. And then when I found out, hey, that's A24, I just got more hyped about it. And then, yeah, for this rewatch today, I sat down, glued myself in the TV, and enjoyed every single second of it. And it kicks off super fast, like it's an hour and 30 minutes, goes in and goes out. Um, what do you think of the character Sutter Keeley, played by Miles Teller? Like you get introduced to him right off the bat as he's doing his essay. He clicking
Clicking the click,
clicking the clicker.
because that's what I guess modern school is. You do. I mean, I don't know. Doing work on like laptops.
Yeah.
Was it a laptop or was it like a full on desktop?
I think it was a desktop, but yeah, I had
But
to do all my essays by hand, writing on paper.
yeah, paper was that was it. But
Yeah.
the character, I mean, I would say it's an interesting character, but to me, I still felt I was kind of like typecasting, because let's see, I'm trying to remember what the first movie I actually saw of this guy. But I saw him like he's known to be like the party guy or whatever.
Yeah, what was
Um,
probably the first movie that I seen him in too. Um was he
Project
in
X.
was it
No, that was a
Project
cameo.
X? Was it just a cameo?
That movie, it's funny because he's playing. I think he's playing himself, but Miles Teller then was not even a big actor to be like, oh, who is this guy? But I think it was 21 and over, I believe.
21 and over, that's the one. Yep. Man, he was in Footloose.
Footloose. I think I
He
only
was
saw it once.
yeah, Footloose, Project X, Spectacular Now, 21 and over, Whiplash, That Awkward Moment,
Mm,
Divergent, Fantastic Four, Bleed for This, War Dogs. Yeah, he's in some stuff, man.
he's done a lot of good stuff. And out of the movies you mentioned there, Whiplash is actually my favorite movie of his.
Whiplash
Um,
is really good.
yeah, with the J.K. Simmons.
Yep.
But I mean, besides his like, he's showing like the some of the what he's done before. But I think in this movie he kind of brought more like a dramatic side to him.
Hmm.
Like he can go.
Yeah, and doing some quick research for this movie, there's a good 20-minute documentary or special features about this movie on the Blu-ray DVD. He's like, this is the first movie where I'm in every single shot, and he was like, he didn't have like a hard time with it, but he was like, it was kind of a challenge being, you know,
The
being
main
in
lead.
every single shot. Yeah, being the lead.
He's always been side guy for
Yeah.
one of the priests.
Um. So like, and in the first literally like 10 minutes, you meet Sutter, you meet Amy. Um, he gets drunk and he passes out in front of her house, and it's almost like I don't want to get too biblical, but with this, but it's like he passed out and was reborn when he like seen her, like she was like a guardian angel, you know. Wake up, see her, and things
And just
change.
that all that was just like the opening of the scene. What was like 5 6 minutes? I don't know.
Yeah.
It was like a good opener. And then as soon as he wakes up, that's when you see that title card, the
Yep.
spectacular now wakes up from it. Thought that
Yeah.
was pretty cool.
Yeah. Good open. Good meeting of the characters. Um, I will say when I first saw this movie, I was like, man, I hope somebody doesn't die. I hope somebody doesn't like
Mm.
I hope somebody doesn't die, or I hope like you
There's a
know,
scene that teases.
um what did you think?
What? That
Did
I
you
think
think
someone's gonna
somebody
die?
yeah, when you first like watched it?
No, maybe not.
No.
I don't. I have seen movies where, I mean, there's a character that dies. It's a very similar type movies.
Yeah. Um
I'd say maybe where it sees it, maybe, but no.
doing the rewatching this for this podcast, I knew he was an alcoholic, and I knew he was having some issues before, but just paying attention to the character and the actor's mannerisms and his facial expressions this time around, like, kind of hit me in the feels for the guy, like for the character, like, you know, not and even then in the first 15-20 minutes you kind of get a little mix of Sutter's home life, Amy's home life. Sutter, I'm not saying he's spoiled, but he like doesn't have to really work if he doesn't want to. He uses his paycheck money for what he wants. His mom's over here working double shifts. And let's talk about his mom. Like his mom was played by the great Jennifer Jason Leigh. If you guys don't, have a hard time knowing who she is, she was a big time actress in the 80s. Um, she still does a lot of good stuff now. But yeah, that's how she is introduced. Um, she's complaining that, he didn't do what she needed to do. She's got to go to work now with wrinkled clothes and she's got to just do a double. Um, so he can kind of do what he wants. But then you look at Amy's home life and like she has to go to school, look after her brother, go get the groceries, do her mom's paper route, plus use her paycheck to help pay for the utilities and stuff. So two different home lives, two different characters, and they clash, but they clash really in a good way. What do you think of uh just I don't know, like this is not a hard movie to explain, but it's just really really simple. Like, the two characters uh they don't clash. They just instantly fall for each other the moment he helps her out with the paper route. And everybody does not take them serious. Like everybody's looking at it like, oh, she's gonna get her heart broken. Sutter is just gonna,
Yeah, cause
he's using her for something, But she doesn't hear it, she doesn't see it, and if she does see it, she doesn't believe any of it. Um, I gotta say, I picked out a line that kind of hit home for me. And I don't think it gets said a lot in just real life in general, but Sutter is obviously having issues in school. Like, he's failing, he's not the best student, and his teacher, um, in the first scene of the movie, not the first scene, but the first scene where the teacher, Mr. Astor, is talking to him, wants him to stay after class for just a little bit because he's trying to hurry up and go to the lunchroom and have lunch with Amy because he said he would. Mr. Astor is like, "You fail, I fail. I like my job. I don't want to fail." And that kind of hit me. That was like, man, do teachers talk like that? Because if not, they need to. Um, I've never heard a teacher say that before in my entire life. Like, if you fail, I fail. A lot of teachers are just like, "Oh, you fail. I'll see you next year." And they look at it as like a job. At least where I come from. Um, and again, I know this is a movie. I know this is Hollywood, handwritten script and stuff. But man, did that line catch you when you heard it again, or is it just me probably being too much looking into it?
um, hmm, no, I mean, that's I mean, I can agree. Like, probably real life, it really didn't. It does seem like teachers really don't all that care. But I I I I can appreciate that scene. Like, making sure it was written and it's all Hollywood, whatever. But just it's almost as that the teacher actually senses that Sutter's like having a like rough time. and actually actually genuinely cares for him.
Yeah, which I thought was just perfect writing. Uh, I thought it was cool because everybody throughout the whole movie lets Sutter know, and this it starts with this scene. You fail, I fail. Don't quit. You don't hear those exact words, but you hear his teacher says it to him. His mom says it through him throughout the show or throughout the movie. Dan, he works at like a local suit and tie shop. His boss says it to him. Amy says it to him throughout the movie. His sister, Holly, says it to him. So he's obviously hurting. The divorce, the separation, his mom keeping him away from his dad. He's obviously hurting. He's drinking a lot, drinking at a young age. Um, just really, really feel for the character, and yeah,
It's funny. It's pretty funny how he's drinking throughout the whole way. Is like using that styrofoam cup.
Yep.
You see him just carrying around with him.
yeah. It's either the styrofoam cup, it's the flask.
The flask.
Yeah, if he's at a party, he's just hammering back some beers.
Yes.
Um, he's
Yeah.
just toasted through the whole movie. Um, and usually when you see movies like this, it just gets worse for that character. And he hit some dark times in the movie, but it doesn't get as dark as I honestly thought it was going to the first time I seen it. I thought it was going to get a lot darker. I thought somebody was going to die or something like that. But uh, just how perfect of a telling of age story was. Like I don't know about you, but I'm a huge '80s fan. Like um, Breakfast Club, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, like all those teenager movies are like I can rewatch them anytime, and they're phenomenal to me. But this was really kind of the first coming of age teenager movie that didn't make the teenagers look like a bunch of drunk dumbasses like American Pie, or like some of those nitwitted comedies. Like, it took teenage life serious in this movie. And then after this, of course, you got movies like, you know, um 17 again, not 17 again, but what's that movie with Woody Harrelson? Anyway, you get more serious coming of age teenage movies after this. Another one I can point out is like Eighth Grade from another A24 movie. Eighth Grade is another good coming of age story. Lady Bird. So more of those came out after this. This was really probably the groundwork for some of those. Um, what did you think of the party? He obviously still has feelings for Cassidy, which is played by Brie Larson.
Hmm.
She breaks up with him because he's sitting in a car with another female talking to her, and she catches him.
I feel like that was kind of used as like a gateway excuse of wanting to split up. I mean, he obviously she didn't catch him like making out with the girl because his whole intention was just to help his friend out with the other girl.
Trying to get
Trying to get him some action. And I mean, you find out later on in the movie that Brie Larson's character she wants a future, and she knows that is it I'm trying to butcher his name.
Marcus.
Sutter.
Oh, Sutter, yeah.
Sutter with the U, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like he's pretty much living in the now, like the movie Spectacular Now, but
Yeah.
yeah, he's not moving forward, and she wants to. So essentially, that was kind of part of that. Her main reason for like splitting.
Yeah.
Not that he was like a real bad dude, but
And I mean, stuff like that really does happen. Like, Marcus has a huge future, probably a star athlete, probably $1 million contract coming up soon. But like, yeah, like people want to grow, people want to move on. And but when they go to the lake party and he takes Amy with him, I almost felt like he used Amy at the time to try to make Cassidy jealous, and then he was just going to pawn her off on some of the nerdy guys while he goes and tries to get Cassidy back. And I'm like, dude, that's not cool. And then when it didn't work out in his favor, he goes and get out of here, loser. And he takes Amy, and
Yeah.
which after he takes her to that walk, like she starts sharing the flask with him. Like, dude, they had some really good dialogue scenes shared in between conversations, and yeah, they had some pretty deep conversations about his dad, how his dad's not like an aviator, and then he's the first one who gets her to try to come out of her shell. Like he's like, you need to tell your mom to, fuck off, you know.
So let's say motherfucking off my back.
Yeah.
Come on, you gotta say motherfucking. But yeah, just I mean the whole idea of him using her in the beginning, just at the party, and like I just settle for second best, going back. But I mean those are the interesting parts of them just having like personal conversations, even if there's alcohol involved in it, but just shows more character being let out by Monster.
Yeah, and I don't mind by like some of those deep conversations that the two have throughout the movie is like really really powerful stuff. Um, After he kind of gives Amy like a backbone to stand up for herself. She's like, hey, if I stand up to my mom, you got to do yours, and you got to go see your dad. But he kind of sneaks around and doesn't stand up to his mom. He gets the information through his sister
Yeah,
because he takes Amy to the dinner that they have.
that's the
Um,
his sister, the actress. That's what's her name? It's isn't that the actress that plays Ramona Flowers?
her name
Or is it
is
just a look like?
where'd she go?
She disappeared.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Yeah, that is the girl who plays Ramona Flowers in Scott Pilgrim.
Yep. She is also the Huntress in Birds of Prey. She's in 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
I
comes
knew
out.
she.
So there's plenty of movies that I've seen her, but like it's always like, oh yeah, you're just Ramona Flowers.
Yeah, and that's huge too. That was a huge role for her back in the day. Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and then she's in the Spectacular Now with like
Which
this.
also stars Brie Larson.
Yeah, man, what a cast. Honestly, looking back at the Spectacular Now, so many years later, um, this is just one of those movies. Like, man, like how did this get skipped by so many people? Like, there's so many people out there that have no idea what this movie is. Um, but hopefully, with us talking about it today, and then with it trending on HBO Max, man, hopefully people can give it a watch this weekend. It's definitely a good tuner. Um, the prom, he wants to take her to the prom, and he does, and you know, uh, people still think that that's the wrong thing to do. Don't take her to prom; you're just gonna hurt her. Um, but no, he takes her to prom. Uh, what about the scene, man, where you can obviously tell, character wise, she was the virgin in the movie, but they have that scene, kind of a little awkward scene, but they do the do
They do the
as
do.
as the Mountain Dew commercial says, and you know, um,
Mm.
I don't know, a little bit of an awkward scene, but I think they nailed it. I think it was meant for you to feel awkward, just because those two felt awkward. And then they take the road trip to go see the dad, Kyle Chandler. It is what it is. I'm not a huge fan of the guy, but I think he did okay in this movie. Um, he's one of those actors, man. What about you, Kyle Chandler? What do you know anything on the top of your head that you might know him for?
Unless you
Godzilla
say like
versus Kong.
that's one of the newer titles, right?
Mhm.
I was gonna say like unless you name movies, I mean, I can't think off the top of my head who
Uh,
it is.
he was in Super 8.
I've actually never seen Super 8.
Whoa.
Oi.
Argo, Manchester by the Sea. It's funny, he was actually in King Kong from 2005, and he's in Kong versus Godzilla.
He reprised his role. Not a different character.
He's in Game Night, First Man. He's in a lot of stuff, like a lot of good serious stuff. He's in Wolf of Wall Street for a little bit. Zero Dark 30. But a lot of people really know him from his Friday Night Lights show. He was on Friday Night Lights from 06 to 2011. So every time, I don't know, it's not a bad thing, but I'll see what you think about it. Every time I see Kyle Chandler, I feel like I'm watching a Lifetime original movie, or like he's, you know, I don't know. He just feels like a generic actor. What about you?
You just
Did
played
you?
the
He played the good,
no.
messed up dad in the movie. I think he did okay.
They're okay with that, but yeah, it like you said, it was kind of generic.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, I did my I did good, but I know you could have done better, but you just good performance.
Yeah. Um, and seeing his dad in that way, he shares a picture with his kid, picture of beer, and then he makes a promise, or he's supposed to seem like the next day, right? And then his dad like never shows, or his dad was
Oh,
supposed to come to the hotel.
all right, correctly. I think they were supposed to go to a game or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know, was it supposed to be the same day or the next day? But yeah, because they're at the bar and his dad is gonna give that girl. I don't know if that's like his new chick or is it just s- some random hoe. But he's like, I'll give her a ride. I'll be back. It'll be like an hour. Or it's like, why do you need an hour? Oh, you know why. But I mean, time goes by and then they just take off. They go back to his place and no one shows up. And I guess they put two and two together. Like, oh, you know what? This guy is probably back at the bar. Which, sure enough, they see him there with his friends drinking. Which is, I mean, I guess they had the characters part. Yeah, you want to hate him.
Yeah.
He did it. I mean, he didn't like him to begin with, but
And I think that's what hurt Sutter the most was like he probably wanted to find out for himself that his dad wasn't a good person, but I don't think he also wanted to go back and be like, man, my mom, that old mean woman, she was right,
yeah,
all these
he
many years later.
he won't believe it. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, he just saw like, oh, it had to be my mom. I mean, so on like nag 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 and all that. Like, it's like there's got to be a reason why he left. And then, I mean, they had that talk. It was like, she didn't kick me out. I just left straight up. This guy hoping he admits that he left.
And the thing that really hurt Sutter, like even on this is where it starts to get a little bit more serious on the car ride back, because his dad lives like 3 hours away. On the ride back, he realizes, man, I can't stop drinking. I'm only in high school and I'm already getting, toasted. Nobody really cares about me. At least this is what he's thinking. And he's like, here I have this perfect girl right next to me, and she needs to just get far, far away from me before we end up like my mom and dad. And it's just like, man, at that point, and he gets so angry and so mad at himself because she doesn't want that to happen. Amy is like, I'm here for you. Are you okay? And he's just not having it. He almost gets into a wreck because obviously they're a little toasted and he's not paying attention. Um,
He's like, oh, so you don't love me and all that. He just kept just going on and on. We get to that scene where he tells her to get out of the car.
Hmm.
She's just so like hesitant and not wanting to, but she's just there standing by, and then the car goes by. I mean, it's you see her get hit, but you don't know how bad the impact was.
yeah. When I first saw this movie the first time years ago, I was like, oh my God, please don't tell me she died. Because in all those stories of drinking and driving, or somebody being messed up, it's always the innocent who pay. And I'm like, please tell me she did not die. I'm gonna sit here and bawl my eyes out.
I mean, that scene was just like, whew. I think my first time, I mean, it kind of got me in the. It did get me in the feel. um, yeah, it was pretty. It's like, damn.
Yeah.
but transitions to the next scene where they're at the hospital and she's gonna be all right, pretty much. But
And then really, after that, after she gets hit, you have the scene where he goes to graduation, and you kind of see some characters go off into the sunset. That's the last time you'll see Cassidy. Cassidy tells him that she's going to California now with Marcus, and
Marcus,
there's even the scene where he talks to his boss for like one of the last few times. Bob Odenkirk is not in this movie for a long time, but the few scenes that he's in, he kind of just not demands your respect, but you can tell that he is Sutter's father figure in his life. I'm sure he can smell that he drinks on the job. You know,
yeah, he definitely
um,
knows.
yeah, but he's that guy who just looks out for him. He knows he doesn't steal. He shows up for work. And that's why I wish this movie was just maybe a few minutes longer, just because I would have liked to see a little bit more of Bob Odenkirk in that. I haven't went back and looked at the deleted scenes, but I would have liked to see Bob Odenkirk in that father figure role more. But I think you still get enough sprinkle in there to know that that's his yeah, his father figure.
I'm always surprised, like seeing this guy appear in like just different random movies. Like it was pretty. I remember seeing him in like The Disaster Artist. He's like a small little role. It's like, oh, there he is. I mean, my first exposure to this guy was, of course, Breaking Bad.
Yep.
They think he's a pretty cool actor. Just does a lot of underrated films I need to get into.
Really good actor. Have you seen Nobody?
No, I've not seen it yet. But
No.
I mean, I know of it. I've
Yeah.
seen the cover and everything. Just it's always been slapped in my. It was always slapped in my face right around the time it was coming out.
Maybe we might have to throw a bonus episode on here later on in the future and talk about Nobodies.
Mm,
Um,
Odenkirk. But the dialogue of for that last kind of thing, because he's offering him like a higher position, I believe,
yeah.
and he's like, "Oh, I just need you to do one thing for me, like kind of cut back on your drinking, or just because he knows he's been drinking the whole time." And then Sutter's over here like, "Oh, yeah, I can't make that promise." So like, damn, you savage.
Yeah, man. After he runs into the mailbox, he
Like,
has he has the deep, like, real conversation with his mom. And that scene, the dialogue between Sutter and his mom, Sarah, is just, Sutter breaks down. He starts crying. He's like, nobody cares. And she's just reminding him. She's like, no, you're not like him. You're a sweet person. And then she reminds him of some of the things that he's done when he was younger.
it
Even,
was one of the moments was like he had carried a boy else in crutches, I believe, his backpack and his books, or a little girl. I think her was it her mother or her parents, maybe both of them died, and he tried to offer her to live with them as like foster family,
yep, man,
just to show you how good a person he actually is. I
yeah.
was like,
And then, just thinking about that, like, man, that movie, that scene right there, just kind of like gut punched you, because like you knew he was going through stuff through the movie, but man, he broke down. He just explained why and explained how everything was going, and um, hit you in the feels again, like, you know,
it's
especially
like,
being,
if you ever think you're coming into like a happy romantic film, this ain't it.
yeah,
This
oh
is
yeah. And this was still way early on in like the A24 catalog, to where like that logo didn't mean like a half baby, half lamb person coming for you or something. So like
the lap.
that that logo still, I'm not going to say it didn't mean anything, but nobody knew what was going to come. So people didn't know what to expect of this movie. They probably teen drama, which that's exactly what it is. But like, man, set the tone and set the bar for some of these upcoming coming of age A24 movies. And I liked one of the ending pieces of dialogue, like, because at the beginning of the movie he's writing out the essay, and at the end of the movie, the essay, he's still writing out the essay, but he's trying to figure out how to end it. um and he says, it may be too late for this essay, but it's never too late for me. And that's all the happy moment that you need for this movie, because you're just like, so what, he's finishing the essay with a bottle of beer next to him, he'll still be all right. But just with that ending, like that final dialogue scene was just like epic. I think that's how you end the movie. And then, watching it today, you realize that he is going up to Amy's front door, and like she opens the door, right, and she comes out and she looks at him, right?
It's well, she's actually at college,
Okay,
university. I mean, you're getting it.
yeah.
Same point, but yeah, it's university because there's a scene where she's heading off. She's gonna go on the bus and she's waiting for Sutter to appear, but he doesn't do it because he's still in his mindset that like she can do better. She doesn't need someone like me to drag her down, because he still feels kind of guilty from his previous relationship with what's her name, Brie Larson,
Cassidy.
but Cassidy. He doesn't want to go through the same thing again. That's why he goes to the bar and even drinks more.
Yep.
But yeah, that was one of those things like, damn it, Sutter. He could at least went out there and set her by.
And I mean, I've never read the novel, but this is based off of the novel. The Spectacular Now. Tim Tharp wrote the book. So I've never read the book, but I kind of wonder now if the book ends the same way the movie does. Because like like how you pointed out, she ends up going to college. He's writing the essay to, I guess, to the dean of admission to try to get into a college. And like you said, he meets her up at the dorm or the college, and she just looks at him,
smiles, and then fades to black.
Smiles, yeah.
Bam.
Perfect A24 coming of age ending. It just leaves you wondering what happened, how their lives might have ended up. So I'm not a big reader, but honestly, this movie today made me want to go get the book and just kind of read it throughout the, read it and see how it kind of ended. Maybe it ends the same way.
Just go buy the books and read them.
Yeah.
Then do a whole stream about the books.
What about the ending though? Did you like it? Kind of left your mind wondering a little bit. Did she, did they go have dinner? Did she just turn around and walk away?
It'd be crazy. Like, yeah, you didn't come for me at the bus station, so yeah, screw you, man. I mean, it's left to the imagination, but I like to believe from there they picked back up. Probably didn't rush into as fast as they did the first time. It's kind of slow steps this time around.
Yeah, for sure. Man, I gotta say, I like the ending. I really enjoyed it. I just, kind of like I said, like you said, made you kind of just guess throughout. Throughout the whole movie, though, how enjoyable was the chemistry between these two? Miles Teller, Shailene Woodley, like they were just a joy to watch. The pacing, I don't, you can answer too, but to me, the pacing of the movie just flew by.
I think that's one of the main reasons why I actually enjoyed the film, just based off their chemistry. I mean, they've acted together. I think it was Divergent came out before this movie, I believe. So they were in those movies, but even then, Miles Teller's role is pretty small in that film series. But I was just surprised, like, they're probably like behind the scenes friends type of thing.
Yeah. Did you get to go check out Top Gun?
I'm a fake monster fan. I've not seen it yet.
I think I think that's a movie that even if you're not a Tom Cruise or Top Gun fan, like Miles Teller again in that movie, like he just dude, he's phenomenal. And I think looking all the way back to his role in this Spectacular Now in 2013, I am not surprised that he is where he is now. I think the stars are the limit for this dude. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if you see him in something bigger than Top Gun. And Top Gun is huge this year. I mean, it made over $1 billion already. And I think Miles Teller is just, whether it be, another shot at a Marvel movie just to make the money, or whether he's in like a huge, huge movie outside of a superhero movie. I don't even think he needs to be in a superhero movie. I think Top Gun just launched him to where he can do whatever he wants now.
Yeah, I think it's one of the main reasons why I didn't go see Top Gun like right away because I was planning on seeing the first one and then going into it. It's just one of those things like time passes you up, and
Yeah.
there was other movies that I wanted to go see in theaters. Like I had saw the Black Phone, I
Oh
saw
yeah, yeah.
Nope. Um, but I mean, it's still in theaters. It's just that it's kind of getting closer to the point where it's going to be on physical media.
Oh yeah. And I mean, if you watch this channel and you've listened to the podcast before, you know that we're all like big, physical media fans. So I think the Blu-ray Steelbook releases in September. So
Around there, yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, it's already a given that I'm gonna pick up the movie since I own just about all the Miles Teller movies.
Yeah, and just looking into it with this, man, this was just such a joy to watch. The score, the dialogue, the characters, the actors, man, the writing, the cinematography, some of the shots of them just sitting on the back of the car, or the wide shots of them in the bed together, or even some of the music scene and the small scene of them dancing. Is it at prom? When they're dancing, like that's some good shit.
Such good shit.
And
Um,
it's even one of those things like they joked about it in the special features. They're like, yeah, let's make a good teenage movie that doesn't have vampires involved or
oh,
heartthrobs involved. Like they wanted to make this movie serious to where people could take teenage problems serious, and I think they knocked it out of the park with this one. Out of the park. Um, So yeah, I mean, like I said, if you guys want to check this movie out, it's on HBO Max. Go HBO Max it up. Um, Come back, listen to the episode, or hopefully this conversation just made you want to go watch it. Because you know what? Even though I watched it before this conversation again is making me want to go watch it.
go
So
rewatch it and read the
yeah,
book also.
yeah. Um, what about you? Do you have a favorite scene that you
There's
may want to
that
talk
is
about?
that is damn tough question. um, whether I would say, damn. I mean, s- sounds real cheap to say like the whole movie is my favorite scene, but I mean, I can appreciate the opener right after the spectacular tower car goes on. I enjoy that. Uh, the car scene when the she gets hit, and or even him just talking to his mother. That
Yeah.
that last emotional scene.
And the paperback, you guys can get the paperback on Amazon for just $10. Um, so yeah. Uh, and then like I said, if you're a physical media collector, you can get the Blu-ray for $10 as well. But it's on HBO Max, so go check it out. I highly recommend it. Nick, I know you're the same. If I had to mention a favorite scene, I didn't really mention this, but I honestly like the scene where Amy's friend comes to Miles, or comes to
Sutter.
Sutter, and she's like, Tara is her name, and she comes to him and she's like, "Hey, you're not talking to Amy. She kind of told me to just go get lost. And like that kind of made me feel good because some of him was rubbing off on her and she was like taking what he said serious. I thought that was a good scene. Um, the scene where she gets her own flask, like he gets her a flask. It's a really heartwarming scene. Um, and then if I had to name one more, probably the scene where him and his mom's reminding him how good of a person she is. So really good movie, really enjoyable. Everything All at Once kicked off the entire month of A24, but honestly, I'm glad that this movie kicked off our bonus series of A24 movies because this was a phenomenal movie, and the bar is set.
Spectacular.
It's spectacular. The bar is set really high. So I hope some of the other movies can live up to this. And honestly, some of the conversations that hopefully I think this was a great conversation. Hopefully the other guys can follow up with what you did, Nick, because this was a really good conversation today. So you set the bar really high with this movie and this pick. Star rating, man, 1 out of 10. How many stars do you give the Spectacular now?
The ball is in my court.
In your court, man.
Hey, but you're no, man, I just pass back to you. I really do like this movie. I don't know if I want to tie it with the.
You want to think about it for a little bit? I'll go off.
I'll let you go.
I'll go off. I'm honestly gonna give this movie a 9. I think it's perfect dialogue. I think it's really good as far as just the pacing. Cinematography shots are great. The character development for the two for just an hour and 30-minute movie are phenomenal. Are spectacular now. I think it's great. And the only thing that probably doesn't give it a 10 to me is I wish, and I never say this about a movie, but I wish it was just a little bit longer.
Ooh, a little bit girthier.
Yeah, a little bit more girth, just so I can see the ending of Miles Teller and Shailene Woodley between those characters. But a 9 is a pretty damn good score, so I'm going to give this movie a 9 out of 10.
All right, you gave me that extra time I needed, and I am on the same star level with you, 9. Because there was a split second where like, am I gonna go there? Can I give this movie a 10? But it's a little. For me, it's a little further behind Whiplash.
A little behind. Yeah, Whiplash is really good. Yeah. Star rating, 1 and done. 10. 9. We both gave this movie a 9.
I mean, as soon as you said star rating, I was like, oh, first number it came to my mind was like 9, but it was kind of like.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
But next up, guys, Monday, August the 8th, episode 205, we are talking about Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. It is A24's brand new movie that's currently in theaters, and it's their first kids movie. So I think it's going to be pretty fun to go check out Marcel the Shell. It's going to be our topic of discussion Monday on the podcast. We are also going to talk our top 5 A24 scores, soundtrack scores. So I think this is going to be pretty fun. Top 5. Again, you guys can send in those emails and let us know your top 5s all the time at cinemen921@gmail.com. Nick, man, anytime you want to jump on any of these A24 episodes, man, just hop on. Until then, though, next week we'll talk to you on Wednesday for sure when we talk about Jennifer's Body.
Excuse me.
Right
Talking about someone's body.
On Friday the 14th. August the 10th, man. If you had any few last remaining words on Spectacular Now, what would you tell somebody? Go see it.
Go see it right now, man. Go see it. Miles Teller is phenomenal. Charlie Wood also. I mean, even the surrounding cast, they're all good. And yeah, A24.
Yeah. So thanks Nick for joining us. Thank you everybody for listening and watching. And again, we will see you Monday for Marcel the Show right here on the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.